Hello everybody, Planet Walls here. We are about ready to play against Mtgo in the round 5 of the Classic League. So I am playing the Zur aggro deck, and we are playing against this young Pyromancer combo deck. So I actually think this is going to be a tough matchup, though we aren't completely without resources. So the goal of his deck is to play Young Pyromancer and play lots of cheap or free instants or sorceries, and then make a million guys. Cabal Therapy is going to be difficult for me to play around, and it's going to be a very good card for him. And the Skull Clamp combos well with all the little crappers that you make. Also, he's going to be able to see what we have with Gitaxian Probe. The Surgical Extraction will only be good for him if he has a good idea of what's in our hand. I don't think otherwise it's that extraordinary, especially because our deck has a lot of 1-ups. In terms of his kill conditions, he's got the Snapcasters, which can attack and replay bolts, Young Pyromancers, which can attack but primarily make tokens, and Deathrite Shamans. Then the Yawgmoths will serve as, I think, an alt kill con with Young Pyromancer out, because he can just play probably a bunch of Lotus Petals and recast a bunch of spells. He also has Soul Ring, but he has no Mana Crypt. He has a Shattering Blow, which doesn't worry us at all, and we'll assume that he sideboards that out. In terms of lands, he has a Swamp and a Mountain for basics, so Back to Basics might be playable against him. He also has these Lotus Petals. He doesn't need that many lands to function, but he's not playing that many. And he at least needs one of each color, I think. He's also got this Bayou here for the Deathrite Shaman's alternative ability. I'm wondering if Back to Basics is good, or if Mana Vortex might actually be better after sideboarding. In terms of what he brings in after board, he probably brings in... Well, this is odd. There are 14 cards on the board and one in the main. It's possible that Backgood's deck is the one that originally was bugged on Gatherer because of the new sideboarding rules. Actually, that makes perfect sense. He probably is only playing 14 cards in the sideboard, and he can board 14 of them in. That could be wrong, but that makes sense to me anyway. Which would mean maybe this basic mountain exists here. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely convinced that I can make sense of that. He's also got these Hammer Mages, humorously, in the sideboard, which don't do anything against us. Another Surgical Extraction. He might bring in the Force Wolves, but I doubt it, because... even though we have some removal spells that are key against him, we also have Cavern of Souls, which makes it hard, I think, to play against us with Force Will. So only 2 mental missteps, though they could be key because they can counter swords. 2 Thought Seizes, Cabal Therapy, so his discard's a big problem for us. And if he gets a draw engine on the Skull Clamp, I'd say it's safe that we lose, probably. But yeah, we'll see. I look forward to playing this matchup. And it looks like we're about ready to start. So I'm a little nervous. It's nice playing with this guy, though. Oops. Looks like I have the... I actually didn't do this on purpose. I've got the Mtgo Academy Flash Spells and Instants playmat. Let's change that. Actually, I'd rather have this one. But I guess it doesn't change. Oh, there it goes. Cool. So, did he mulligan? He's on the play, and he kept. So that's a little scary. Got a couple detention spheres here, but we have to assume that he's going to kill our Hierarch, which leaves us without blue mana. And that means that the Vendilion Click is probably almost null and void. We can draw another land, though. I mean, really, I want to be able to activate or play these 2 detention spheres. So I think in the interest of doing so, I'm going to keep this hand. He could, I guess, Cabal Therapy us for detention sphere. That would be sort of disappointing. Actually, that would be extremely disappointing. He would have to first Gitaxian Probe us, though. So that would almost be like a 2-card combo in turn 1. Instead, he leads off with a Deathrite Shaman, which is less scary than the play that I just articulated. And now we have a way, at least, to pitch a card. Actually, you know what? I should have named Human here. This could get misstepped. But it didn't, which is great news, actually. Now I can name Wizard and have a shot at casting Vendilion Click. He is playing Oh, he's not playing any Wastelands. I was going to say I think he is playing Wasteland. Is he playing a Strip Mine? Yes, he's playing a Strip Mine, but no Wastelands. That's okay. I can deal with that. And we need to be wary of fetch lands because of this Deathrite Shaman, because it could ramp him. On my turn, okay, so he's going to probe here. That means he could... Huh. If I counter the probe... It's a good question. Should I counter the probe? I don't think so. I think he's going to Cabal Therapy twice. That's my theory, which is kind of a scary play. But I'm going to wait and decide what he does here. He can make me lose 2 life, I guess, with a Deathrite Shaman. That's okay. So I think the important thing to do would be to force it by pitching a Detention Sphere, I think. And then that at least makes him choose between the Vendilion Click and the Detention Sphere if he wants to use the second Cabal. That would be pretty bad for me anyway, though. I mean, essentially, it's just bad for him to know what my hand is. Okay. So the real question is, do I want to counter that? This tells me he doesn't have a Cabal Therapy, I think. Maybe he doesn't have another land. Yeah, we're going to counter this. And I don't think he has any follow-up play unless he's going to play a land and Cabal Therapy me. Which is possible. Definitely. And taking care of this Deathrite Shaman is actually pretty important right now, because it's really going to cause problems. But I think the next card we're going to want to play is Vendilion Click, probably. Because we still can. What I'm hoping this means is that he doesn't have another land. That's really the hope and a prayer that I'm operating on here. And if he's got a Snapcaster, it's going to be a little while in theory before he can use it. And we can get into a... oh, that's bad. Okay. That means he's got more mana, too. It's definitely good that I counter the Lightning Bolt, though, because otherwise we would basically be in an awful position. That Skull Clamp, we are going to have to find a way to eliminate that soon. But he's got no Pyromancer yet, which is good. And, oh, that's horrible. In case you couldn't tell why that's horrible, it's horrible because it makes our Caracas and other Vendilion Click worse. Means we could have forced a Vendilion Click away. It also means if he Cabal Therapies for Vendilion Click, we lose 2 of them now. So that was probably one of the worst cards in the deck to draw. I would say. We are going to name Wizard here. So hopefully our Hierarch lives here. And we can at least cast one of the Vendilion Clicks next turn. If we're stuck with 2 of these in our hand, it's a really bad situation. I mean, it's possible he's sitting on another Deathrite Shaman and he knows we've got a Detention Sphere and he can't play it. That would be pretty okay if he's got 2 Deathrite Shamans in his hand or something. But chances are he... Oh, God. Please, please. Chances are here, our hand is just going to go away. If he names Vendilion Click, that's really horrible. And that's basically getting kicked in the crotch by our deck and drawing the second Vendilion Click. Ah! Brutal. Okay, so... Yes, that was sad, but I bet he's gonna sack it to eliminate the Detention Sphere. because if he doesn't, and by eliminate I mean play Cabal Therapy. Yeah, now he's going to draw a million cards. So we're in a pretty bad situation here. As I said, that Vendilion Click is the worst possible card I could imagine drawing. Well, he didn't sack it. I have to imagine that that was an accident, but it's possible that it wasn't. I don't know what to do here. Obviously, the Skull Clamp is a major threat. But maybe I have to operate on the assumption that he doesn't have anything else, and he's going to be drawing dead, and that I should just take out the Deathrite Shaman. Because the Deathrite Shaman by itself is going to be able to... basically, this is like mana screwing him a little bit. I mean, I think this is what I'm going to do, and it doesn't feel like anything but risky, but I don't want him to have access to that Cabal Therapy. Like, I think I have to pray that he has nothing anyway, and so removing the Deathrite Shaman might be the right play here. Also, you'd have to draw a land in order to play, like, a young Pyromancer, and then... Okay, so... I guess he knows we don't have anything good in there. What I actually want to draw right now is a Geist of Saint Traft. That would kick ass. Okay, well that's pretty good for him. So whatever he wants, he's gonna draw it. Let's try to figure out what that would be. Maybe Yawgmoth's Will? Maybe. Alternatively, maybe a young Pyromancer. Or maybe a Brainstorm even. Or a Lightning Bolt to kill our Hierarch. Not sure. Okay, that's kind of funny. That's really funny. No, we're tapping the Caracas. I think we might have a shot again. This was like maybe the top deck of the century. I mean, I feel like he drew pretty well, so I don't feel that bad. He could still definitely win this game, but yeah, especially with cards like Lotus Petal. But drawing back to basics there was pretty awesome. Oh, man. That sucks. I feel like if we pull this one out, it'll be a gift. We can't cast that guy yet. Yeah, we really want to, though. Man, that Strip Mine that he had, that was so clutch for him. So he can play something on his turn. And he can equip... Like, he has to know I have a Zur, right? Okay, we're passing. If we can lay this Zur, I really think we have a shot. But we need to just find, what, any land? Yeah, because we have black, white, blue. We need to keep our guy alive and draw any land. We have one exiled and then 1, 2... Okay, so he's just exiling that for mana. What's he going to get? Is he going to equip? Damn! That feels crappy. Now it's going to be a while before we can play Zur. Still, exciting game, I'd say. Oh, we can't cast that guy! Okay, we could have just one turn ago. That would have been so awesome. This game, basically, I had relegated this game to over, but ripping back to basics at least makes it exciting. Damn. I was going to get a basic. I feel like even though I majorly and awesomely ripped this card, he ripped his own few cards to make my life miserable. Unfortunately, this says Wizard, so we can't cast a Deathrite with it. I don't know what he's going to do with this mana. Maybe equip. I mean, he's playing off the top of his deck, presumably. He could Cabal Therapy us. I guess he's just going to beat down with Deathrite? That would be kind of fun. Yeah, okay, so that's this means we've got a little bit of time. And that's probably one of the better cards we could have just drawn. So we're going to crack this. We're going to find a basic forest, I think. Yeah, we definitely have to do that. And then we drop our own little buddy here. So hopefully he doesn't have a way to eliminate this. He could mental misstep. But he didn't. So that means he probably doesn't have it. But I think we have a shot at landing a Zur here. What if he Cabal Therapy's naming Zur? That would be pretty exciting. I don't even care, man. This game is... This is like the best game of Classic I've played in a while. I'm scared and on the edge of my seat. We're in top deck mode, but everything's super exciting. We both have Deathrite Shamans down, and I might play a Zur. Please don't kill my Deathrite. Blue? Snapcaster targeting what? Gitaxian Probe? Yes, he's gonna... Damn! He's gonna target the Gitaxian Probe. He's gonna see what I have in my hand and pitch the Deathrite Shaman for it. That's too bad. Cool, though. So cool. He's definitely going to do it. He's going to draw a million cards, which is going to be good for him, obviously. And I don't know, does this mean I should have Detention Sphered this? I'm not sure. That could have been the right play. Maybe that's the obvious play. I don't know. I thought it was the obvious play, but I thought that taking out his Deathrite basically created a better situation for me in the later game. I guess he could have Demonic Tutored for his Skull Clamp and found that, and he would have been in perfectly good shape. Yeah. So he's going to name Zur the Enchanter here, and this game has returned to being exciting, though a little bit more unfortunate for me now. Actually, a lot more unfortunate for me now. Now we have a lot of cards we don't want to draw. Which kind of sucks. And he just drew a lot of cards, so... Yep. Oh, and another basic? Damn! So what do we want to draw? I guess we just want to draw another Zur off the top of our deck, and we'd feel pretty good if we could do that. I think he's got so many cards in his hand, we have to land a Zur almost right away. So we've probably got 1, maybe 2 turns to draw a Zur. I think that's it. Though that's not bad. I shouldn't complain about that. What I'm going to start doing, I think, is just... gaining a bunch of life? I mean, is that right? Attacking him for 1 doesn't seem to do enough. I would rather remove cards from graveyards and gain life, honestly. Especially because he has Yawgmoth's Will, so he could get back like Snapcasters and Deathrites and stuff. So... I think that's my plan. This Swords to Plowshares is a good card, and he could definitely have a mental misstep now. I do think he brings in Force of Wills for game 2, just because he has some cards that are basically dead in this matchup, or at least not very exciting. I'm not sure what's going on here. I guess he's thinking. Okay, there we go. I mean, maybe I wish I had black mana. Then I would have a real threat out right now, essentially. But the Bayou in my deck is destroyed, so I have to find a City of Brass. What is this? Another one? That's kind of unfortunate. Yeah, I guess we let him hit me for that, and now he knows we have a Swords in our hand, which is probably valuable information for him. I definitely don't activate this until he's for sure out of snap casting range. And I mean, he could play a Snapcaster, I guess, by playing a land first. Yeah, so he's got a land. Like the question is now, do I wait for that because he could snapcast instant speed? I think I've got to use this. I mean, that could be wrong. I could wait for him to crack this land, but I think that that's wrong. I mean, he could definitely be holding a snapcaster. Basically, in case it's not clear what I'm talking about, if he cracks polluted delta, I can respond by removing a creature from his graveyard, or I can't remove instants anyway. So I guess I don't really have to worry about snapcaster. I guess it doesn't really make sense to. He seems to be a little paranoid about... Okay, well, he's just going to kill this. So we will exile, I think, a Deathrite. I think that's the right play here. We'll gain some life off that. And that's pretty good for him. Yeah, and the question is, like, why would he play that knowing that I have a Swords? My guess is because he just has a mental misstep. I might play this now so I can play a Kasali Pride Mage on my turn. Or he could be holding the Pyromancer and he really needs it to live. But this is a threat enough that I need to deal with it. So we're going to go ahead and do that. He could misstep, like I said. And he did. So that's fine. We drew ours. A day late, $1 short, unfortunately. And this is going to make him capable of gaining some extra life and knocking us in the face for 2 every turn. There's still a chance that we can draw a land and a Zur. Or a Geist of St. Traft, which would be pretty cool. I hope we find one of those. So we have things in our deck that we can draw. There are 3 Zur, 2 Geist of St. Traft. The Kasali Pride Mages wouldn't be bad either. Also, we can eliminate the Skull Clamp with those. So I have no problem drawing any of those cards. So there are 4 Pride Mages, 3 Zur left, and 2 Geist. That's 9 cards that I think are pretty good to draw. Those aren't great odds, but 1 out of... a little bit better than 1 out of 5 chance. I would also not mind... What is this? I assume we just let him do this. Because, like, what am I going to counter that? This lets him draw some more cards with Skull Clamp, essentially. And it puts another sorcery in his graveyard. Yeah, he's most worried about Zur, which is interesting. So really, I want to draw a land before I draw a Zur. Okay, and now I guess he's gonna name. He's gonna attack and name Mental Misstep. That would make sense anyway. I kind of feel like he might want to keep this around though to kill me, and he's not doing that. He's instead using it to draw a bunch of cards, which probably will also kill me. But well, I guess he just wanted to attack. So we did hit a land. That's good because this gives us an option to play Zur then later. The reason I played it now rather than later. Was so that I could search for an island and then cast the Mental Misstep if I need it instead of paying the life, but I'm not sure that that's right. I could also thin out the deck to make it slightly more likely we draw the cards we need to draw. That's fine. This is presumably where the Deathrite gets sacrificed, I assume. Yeah, I guess I'm going to let him... pay 2 life to take out my misstep. That seems strange to me. Because he's very close to the I kill you with a Geist of St. Traft hit mode. This is going to turn in, I believe, to an island right now. The reason I'm doing that right now is so I don't draw that island. Do I do that now? I think I do this right now, because I can play a land and set up. I can't play a Geist with this hand, though, so maybe that was wrong. But I can find a fetch. It's not very good. Maybe keeping Brainstorm for next turn was the right play. The way he's playing, though, makes me think that he's got his other misstep in hand. Or a Snapcaster. So that's going to be it here. So maybe waiting for his turn would have worked, because it... I don't know. Because then he gets one less attack in. Okay. So he's going to go to 5 here. Geist of St. Trapped is a little worse now, obviously. But it's not that much worse. It's pretty bad. I can ever untap it. Or I can't ever untap the Caracas. Okay. But he does go to 5. So, like, this game, not looking good for us, but shockingly not as horrible as it could be looking. I think he draws a bunch more cards, but he's still mana screwed. Back to Basics actually worked out pretty well, much better than Mana Vortex probably would have. So the question is, do I cut it, or do I let him just remember that Back to Basics is a possibility like it was this game, such that it scares him into playing differently? Let's draw something good. That could definitely be worse, actually. We can actually also kill our Back to Basics if we ever need to. I don't see that happening. What's he going to target? A Zur? Yeah. Okay, so Zur is no longer going to be an option, but that's okay. We can't do anything about that. Go ahead and take it. I think I dropped this here. I don't see any reason not to. Why wouldn't I? I don't think there's a good reason not to. I can kill the Skull Clamp. I mean, this is actually a serious threat. It attacks for 3. Funny. Yeah. This game isn't wholly over yet, even though it's, not looking good. We've got no more Zurs in our deck. I presume he took them all. Yeah, he did. He's doing it for mana? An interesting game, huh? The top deck Back to Basics, I know I've already said this, but I really think it made the game kind of interesting. Is he going to Brainstorm? Yeah, I bet that's what he's going to do. I guess why else would he make a blue here? Unless he's going to Snapcast something. That's totally possible. Yeah, so it looks like he is going to do that. Okay. Probably targeting a Bolt. Whoa! See if we can change that. But, well, I guess we did. What is he targeting? Lightning Bolt? Okay, go ahead. I guess Pride Mage gets bolted here? Or does he bolt my Dome? Because I'm running out of options at this point. That Snapcaster was a good draw. I mean, granted, he's drawn through 5 cards of his deck more than I have, minimum. Okay, so we have to respond by killing Skull Clamp. That's fine. Unless we want to kill Back to Basics instead to have our Caracas untap, but I don't think that's right. I don't think that puts us in a very good position, so. We go to 5 here. This is going to hit us for 2. Yeah, this is going to be our last draw, and that's not going to cut it. So let's GG and move on to the next game. I really had a blast that game. So back goods, that was a lot of fun for me. Yixla Jailers aren't going to be very good against him. They just remove abilities and things. Steel, I think we bring in. Well, let's think about what he brings in. I think he probably cuts. Well, Shattering Blow because it sucks, and I don't know what else. I think maybe the Surgical Extraction. So I'm not sure. He might think that they're really good and bring in another one. Not sure about that. Maybe he cuts a discard spell and brings in Force Wills. I think one Force Will comes in. That's what I think. That's what I would do if I were playing his deck. I'm going to bring all the cards that I think might be relevant. I don't think the Mind Harness is good enough against him, even though it takes a Deathrite Shaman. I will bring this in. Ice Cage is kind of okay. It deals with a Deathrite Shaman. It's like Mind Harness, I guess. I don't think the Mana Vortex is going to be very good. I think Rest in Peace might be an interesting option to bring in to keep him from going off with a couple of different cards. This deals, I guess, with all of his artifact mana all at once, but it doesn't strike me as that strong. Lotus Petals, Skull Clamps. I mean, I can consider it. So I can look at all the cards that are here and see what I want to bring in. I might just want to cut some cards in order to diversify my deck, like bring in Trigons because they can attack in the air and because then Cabal Therapy can't remove them. So that's one option. But I think that the Pride Mages are still really strong. Let's cut the Energy Flux. I don't think it's very good compared to other stuff. And let's cut the Shielding Plaques. And let's cut the Snake Umbra because he's got bolts. So out of the remaining cards, I do think I want to keep the Confinement Arena plan. I don't think he can deal with that. I don't think it's answerable to him. The Ice Cage strikes me as relatively weak, even if... Because he can clamp something. Yeah, let's get that plan out. The question is, do I want to cut the Back to Basics? I might want to cut a Zur, though Screams from Within seems really valuable, as does Detention Sphere. Stony Silence I'm going to go ahead and cut. I don't think it's strong enough. Well, I could be convinced otherwise. Let's leave it in. Maybe it's better to leave that in than the Rest in Peace, which isn't as strong. Both offer interesting options, though. I do think I cut one of the Vendilion clicks just to diversify. Like, does Rest in Peace do enough? That's the question. Rest in Peace and Stony Silence. I think that they might. I'm going to cut a Deathrite, and I'm going to cut a Zur. So I'm not sure if that's right by any means, but Rest in Peace makes the Deathrite plan worse, obviously. We have a Solitary here, which is an interesting option. I'm going to keep this hand easily. And so the question is, which of these cards do I want to live more? I think I want the Hierarch to live more, so I think I play the Shaman first, even though it can't ramp me next turn. Does that seem right? Or do we play the Hierarch because it can ramp us into Back to Basics? We can't counter a Lightning Bolt and play the Back to Basics at the same time, which is worth noting. Maybe we play Cavern naming Human, and then play the Hierarch? Yeah, I might want to keep the Forest in case he's holding Strip Mine. But he's only playing one, so I don't know if it's a good idea to play around Strip Mine. You know, I might want to drop the Back to Basics a little later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this and immediately drop the Deathrite Shaman. Okay, and it does get misstepped. I'm okay with that. Okay, and there's a Clamp. Do I care about that right away? I think if I can land Solitary Confinement, I don't really care at all about that. Basically, I guess I need to combo with Solitary Confinement. I'm going to let this resolve, and we're going to shoot for a... well, that's an interesting option. Huh. Let's play this. I don't think it's going to get countered. That tells me he doesn't have a counterspell, though I don't know that for sure. Like, I'm tempted to name Cleric with this. But I'm also tempted to actually hold on to the... Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm not playing a land this turn. So he could strip my forest. I know this sounds weird. I'm missing my land drop intentionally to save the cavern to know what to do. Because if he kills the Hierarch, I don't want my cavern to be naming Cleric. That's bad. So I'm going to wait and see if he has a bolt. My guess is a Pyromancer comes down this turn. He's got a choice between bolting my Noble Hierarch or playing a Pyromancer and like a 0 cast. That's what I think. And I think if he plays the Pyromancer, I force a will. What the hell would he name with this? Yeah, I don't think he's going to name Geist. If he does, props to him. Pride Mage. No dice. Okay, good. So I guess he's really concerned about having a Skull Clamp live. Plays a Polluted Delta. That's interesting. Okay. Wow, that makes things convenient. We're going to drop this gentleman and pass. And we've got counter backup here, which I feel okay about. I feel like if we can play the back to basics and land it, we lock out the game. But I also think that this does enough damage quickly enough that it puts him in serious threat, almost dead mode, especially if I can counter one of his spells. So if this turn he does nothing, I'll be strongly tempted to play the back to basics. But if he does do something, I'll be strongly tempted to counter it. Solitary Confinement is pretty bad in our hand right now. And also because we have, like, zilch black mana, drawing the arena is also is really bad, too. Oh, so he's just going to go ahead and concede. Maybe just wants to save time there, but looks like the hexproof guy scared him off, especially with counter backup. So the question is, what do I do here? Like, I don't know if I bring the 4th Zur back in. I'm just not sure it's strong enough. He's only got the 4 bolts, but Snapcasters too. So Snake Umbra is diminished in its value. Just like Shielding Clax is. I think I bring the Deathrite back in, and I probably cut the Rest in Peace plan, just because this is such an important kill con for me. Then again, Detention Sphere removes mine and his. I don't know. Zur's just so bad. The enchantments on their own are good against him, but Zur is pretty bad. He just has a hard time dealing with a 4 toughness guy. He has to bolt it twice, which is, I think, essentially his deck's weakness. I think Steel is really good against him. For sure. I'd even put it on a Pride Mage in a pinch, even though it could get bolted. Back to basics may have scared him off there. I'm not sure. Like, I'm almost willing to go with this setup again. Cutting the Rest in Peace, but keeping in the Stony Silence. Like, maybe Trigon Predator is just better than a Stony Silence, but I don't think so. It isn't bad, though. It can block all his guys, like... But it can also be bolted. It's a tough decision, I think. Like, I could cut a Force of Will and bring in a Trigon. That seems weird. Or maybe bring in both Trigons and cut a Pride Mage and a Force of Will. Like, that could be right. I kind of like the confinement plan, though, too. It's just, you need to have a Zur to make that work. And maybe I just win the game anyway if I have a Zur. But I don't think so. We're going to go with this. We brought in the Deathrite and cut the Rest in Peace. Not convinced about that. Seems like a complicated... Jesus Christ, I don't know what's going on here. Complicated sideboarding decision. This hand, I kind of like it. No ramp options, but we have a threat in Pride Mage that can eliminate a Skull Clamp. And then we can follow this up with Back to Basics with counter backup in theory. I'm actually not going to mulligan this. It's not the strongest hand in the world, but I like it. What'll this be, a Cabal Therapy? Thoughtseize. Yeah, we're going to counter that. Because I guess we're shooting for the Back to Basics plan. Let's find a blue card to have some counter backup. That's interesting. We're going to lead off with the planes here. This threatens swords. What I really hope he does is he plays a Skull Clamp here, honestly. Well, I mean, I guess that's obvious, but that would be really sweet. I think I'm okay with that Deathrite. Yeah, let's let it hit. We'll worry about that later. If we can eliminate this, well, that kind of makes my Back to Basics plan a little worse. What's he doing? Maybe I should have mulled this one. I think my hand would have been much stronger if I let out with a Deathrite or something else. But if he goes for a non-basic with that Mire, and we'll find out right now if he's doing that. He didn't. Oh, awesome. I don't think it's too greedy to play the Stony Silence now. I think that might be the least greedy play I could make, actually. No? Okay. What does that mean? He can equip the Deathrite. The most mana... I mean, he could also play a Lotus Petal and do something. The question is, would he have played that before? Like on turn 1 to get out a Deathrite. I think he would have. So I don't know if the Stony Silence is that valuable right now. He could also Thoughtseize it away or something. So maybe this is wrong. I'm going to play the Stony Silence this turn. If he counters that, he goes down to 1 card in hand. I think that's what he's thinking about right now. He's thinking about pitching 2 cards to it. So essentially what we did was we just played a Disenchant, which is okay, I think. Oh my god, I really want another black mana to be able to ruin this thing. We're countering it. Makes Screams worse, because Screams is obviously really good against this, but given my mana setup, I don't think I'm going to be casting this for a while. If I draw a black mana source, I guess I'll be extremely regretful. Basically, I'm just thinking that this isn't very strong given the current game state. We didn't draw a black mana source, which is okay. I'm going to leave the Rainforest in hand here, because I wouldn't mind drawing another land, I don't think. Oh, maybe I just want to get rid of it right now. We pitched the Back to Basics, which is too bad since we just drew a basic. We will drop this gentleman. Hey, you know what? Let's drop the Misty. That's fine. I don't think I'll crack it here, but now I have the option. So a lot of questionable, like questionable I don't mean definitely wrong, but they could be. A lot of plays that involve serious questions this game. The Stony Silence versus the Pride Mage getting in there is one of them. Countering the Pyromancer is another, especially because I'd already eliminated a Skull Clamp. So the question is it really that much of a concern? Especially when I have a Screams right here. What I'd like to see from him, I think, is over the course of the game another Pyromancer where I can resolve a Screams and go cha-chung, 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 and just kill all of his guys. And then end up making this a 0-1, which would be really sweet. As it stands, he's going to be pinging me every turn, or maybe he'll just bolt my Pride Mage, and then start pinging me. He can gain life too, but I guess now I kind of wish I still had the Rest in Peace in. I don't know. Tough matchup to figure out. Demonic Tutor is definitely scary right now. I think we let that resolve. We think about what he's looking for. Maybe a Force. Maybe another Pyromancer. I'm not sure. Looking for Force isn't that strong, I don't think. Because it's like trading a card for a half a card. It could be a Snapcaster, or it could be a Bolt, just to eliminate the Pride Mage. Maybe a land, actually. So he could Snapcast and then Demonic Tutor again if he draws another land, I guess. See, I guess this is why saving that island, that doesn't make any sense. I think I want to know if this resolves before combat. Okay, what is this? Is this a misstep? Maybe he's going to storm on his own? Okay, so it is a misstep. It's kind of unfortunate. Is it possible that he Demonic Tutored for the misstep? I think that's possible. Like, feels like I have 0 cards in my hand, though, right now. Because this thing is really not strong when I can't play it. So if he plays a Pyromancer, that's almost assuredly what he Demonic Tutored for. And what he was debating about the mental misstep was whether I would have a Swords. Oh, jeez. Well, that's no good. Okay. So was that Yawgmoth's will about thought seizing me? Or is it about Demonic Tutoring again, or casting the Pyromancer out of the grave? I'm actually not sure. It doesn't seem like he can do everything unless he's got a Petal in his hand. Okay. So I guess this is just going to be a young Pyromancer? Okay. So you're going to play a 0 cast and then counter it to make some 1/1s? I mean, I really hope I draw a black source so that I can nail this jerk off. That's kind of maybe like a black source. I think I need to attack right now. I don't think I'm going to be blocking. Because if he missteps then I don't want him to be able to chump. Okay. Come on, find me a black source. That would be so sweet. What is he going to force this? Or does he have his other misstep? It would be really a bummer if he had a second misstep. I mean, I take it he has something here. Must be the Force of Will. Because otherwise, there would be no doubt in my mind that he would misstep this. Okay. Putting 2 cards on top, huh? God, I don't even want to crack this thing. I want that Zur. Wow, I don't know what to do. I want all these cards. So I can draw the Screams next turn. I'm going to put the Detention Sphere down first. Oh, I don't want to keep the Zur in my hand, do I? Because I want to protect it from like a Thoughtseize or a Cabal Therapy. I think. Sorry, this is hard. So I'm probably going to keep the... I haven't played a land this turn, I don't believe. I just want to make absolutely sure about that. So I'm going to keep the land, and I think I keep the Screams, and I put the Detention Sphere down on the top. So I go Detention Sphere, then Zur. And then I don't shuffle yet, and I draw the Zur. And we might need to Screams a million things away. Yeah. I mean, Screams is better when you're Zuring it into play, but he could kill the Zur. And then I would have to shuffle to play the Zur anyway. So... Screams is no good without the Windswept Heath. And Detention Sphere might be just as good against the young Pyromancer as Screams. Or at least almost as good. Like, I think I might be getting lured into the Screams, which isn't as good as I think it is. I just don't want him to discard the Zur. So Zur goes on the top of my deck, for sure. Like, I could keep... Well, unless I want to keep Detention Sphere and Zur and not the lands. And then I Detention Sphere the Pyromancer this turn. And it might get countered. And then next turn I play the Zur. No, if I play the Detention Sphere this turn, well... God, this is rough. I really want to kill that young Pyromancer. I mean, there's a reality that he could have a counterspell too. That's why he waited as long as he did, maybe. The only thing he's not going to be able to counter out of this is the Zur. But I can only play it if I have the Heath. Then again, if he has, like, Snapcaster Bolt, Zur just dies. But if he had Bolt, wouldn't he have killed the Pride Mage? I don't know what to do, obviously. I think I play... I think I want to keep 2 cards. So I think I put the Zur on top, the Heath, and the Detention Sphere. So I go Screams, Zur. And then do I play this? The land. No. and I let him have his turn. Was that like the opposite thing I wanted to do? That may have been the worst possible thing to do. Actually, that may have been just the worst possible thing to do. Because I'm not doing anything this turn then. I mean, I can still sphere all of his... I think I played around like a series of horrible cards, and the result was that I just screwed myself and made the worst possible brainstorm play. Because I can't even draw the screams until until the next turn now. And I'm as good as at 12 because the death right. Okay, so we have this. What's he going to name? I think if he guesses right here, I'm in serious trouble, but if he doesn't, I'm not in trouble at all. Next, he guesses which I obviously don't have. So I think he pitches an elemental now to make me discard that detention sphere. Yeah. Okay. The alternative play was just to drop Zur there, which I guess would have been better in retrospect. So like maybe I should have said, if he has Cabal Therapy, what do I want to do? Because now I'm going to be in a position where I might want to wait for Screams of the Damned. And not shuffle away. Okay, and this tells me he must have another instant. So the next card is Screams. Do I care about that? Yeah, I think I kind of care. Like, I don't know if I attack with a Pride Mage here. What happens if I do? If he has a Bolt, he could deal 2 to me, or he could deal 3 to me. Yeah, I don't think we're winning this game with Pride Mage. That could be wrong, but... So he could Bolt. I guess I can live with that. He has exactly enough mana to... Well, actually he has more than enough mana to Bolt. Okay, good. That's a good sign. If he bolts the Zur, I'd say that... Well, that's not... bolting the Zur. But he could still bolt the Zur. But, twice. I guess you'd have to have 2 bolts or a bolt and a Snapcaster. Actually, just 2 bolts at this point. So if he has 2 bolts, I guess that's sad for me. Or a probe and... I don't know. Tell you one thing I'm not doing. I'm not blocking with Zur this turn. Okay. So if I get to attack here with Zur, I feel like I'm in pretty good shape, and I'll tell you what I'm doing right now. I'm going to set up to be able to play this Force of Will. And we are going to find Screams. Is he going to be able to do anything here? I don't think he can. Because of the way that auras come into the battlefield, you can't tell what's being targeted with them. I mean, now you'll be able to. What's he going to do? Is he going to remove that? Nope. Okay. What's happening? Why are you doing this with all your mana? Okay. That was pretty cool. He's going to go to 6, and we have counter back up here, and I think we can find something to gain a bunch of life off this. Do we let him play that? I think we do. Yeah, I think that's fine. We do need to watch our life total, though. I could find solitary confinement. I don't know if he has any way out of that. So I find confinement, then I find arena, and then I find... I don't even think I can be targeted then. Nah, this just says each opponent. So Deathrite can still kill me through solitary confinement. It's not, the best card. I don't really want to attack with Pride Mage here though, because he can just block with his Deathrite, and then actually no, that's fine. Then the Screams comes back and lands on the Pride Mage. That would be okay. He's down to 52 seconds on the clock. I'd rather that not be the reason this game ends, though. That's not very good for him when I have a counter spell. Okay, so he's conceding. That was a tough one, but I enjoyed it, and I'll end the video now so the file size is decreased. But thank you guys for watching. Pretty rough matchup.